Thank you for following Marvin's Customized Angling channel. Today we're going to play around with the Berkley Fusion Slow Turn Hook. There are a number of ways to tie this hook, even though it fishes somewhat similar. But the way you set it up is going to change a number of things about this hook, whether it be very subtle or more attractive, more active, more colorful. But I wanted to start off to tell you that I'm using a Berkley Trilene 14-pound. I don't shy away from line strength. I also use fluorocarbon, but for this video I'm going to be using Berkley Trilene. The simplest way to fish the slow turn hook is the single hook. I'm just going to quickly tie this hook on, and I use my termination knot, which I've shown you in other videos. Now I'm just going to wet this, and I'm going to just draw it down, and I'll trim this end. So this is it, just a hook, and you'll have a part of a crawler on there, or you'll use the Gulp Killer Crawler bait, which is made for this hook and is as good as any natural crawler. In fact, in a lot of cases it's better because you can get them in different colors. And now remember that this hook rotates in the water, and on the other end of your snell you must have a good quality swivel or snap swivel to connect to your line. And in my case I use bottom bouncers. I don't use a Lindy weight, so depending on the bottom bouncers that I have, whether they have snap swivels or just an eye, will determine how I will finish this snell. So that's the number one, just a bare hook and bait. Now we're going to add an attractor. In this case I've got a salmon colored bead, and it's going to ride down to the bottom of my hook. You can choose colors like salmon, orange, red, green, even the blacks and the purples. Just remember, this is a number 4 bead. That's the bead size. The more beads you put on here, the more opportunity it is for this hook and bait to drop down. It just gets a wee bit heavier, so keep that in mind. You can add as many beads here as you like, but if you're going to be dragging in the mud, you might as well use something different. So this is the same snell. I've just added 3 beads. This is probably my maximum amount of attractor that I would put in front of this hook personally. But again, it's a fisherman's choice, but this is my suggestion to you. And now we're going to move on to combination snell. So on this combination I've added a float. But anyway, this float, styrofoam float, will keep the bait above the bottom if you slow down or change speeds. And that's what I like to use with a slow turn hook. It's not just a constant speed. I run fast to slow depending on whether I'm going on a flat or down the side of a break line. But anyway, the float does help, keep my hook and bait off bottom. Now I've added a mylar blade, very light. Instead of using a metal blade, I've used this mylar blade, and this is really nice, again with speed change, because you're either going to get a fast rotation on this blade or a slow rotation. And that seems to be a great trigger for fish as you're trolling. Just that added attraction, and this is a Max Smile blade. That gives you an idea how many possibilities you have with this hook. It doesn't matter if you change the color of the float, the blade, the number of beads. This is the apparatus that has multiple uses. The other thing I just want to remind you is when you thread your bait on, it must come past the eye. In this case, we have the little hook. Oops, sorry, it's hard to see. It's a little bait retainer. And not only the bait retainer, but your tag end from your knot. This is also a very stiff piece of line, so once the bait goes up here onto the line, it gets hooked on the tag end of your line, and it gets hooked on the retainer on the hook. Thank you for following Marvin's Customized Angling channel. I really hope you're finding these videos informative. Marvin's Customized Angling channel always respects your opinions, and we look forward to your feedback.